All right, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order. It is now 9:35. It is May 4th. We're going to call the meeting to order. Good morning. Order. We are still waiting for one of our board members, but I'll go ahead and get us started. In the interim, we'll go ahead and get started with the reading of the preamble. Madam Secretary.
Good morning. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, May 4th, 2026. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platforms. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We've also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can we call the roll, please?
Sure. Ms. Roca?
Present. Go
Mr.
Cavs.
Mr. Madison?
Present. Let them know.
Okay.
Ms. Holder will be absent this
What's
morning.
my line? Give me a dance line. Come on, guys.
Sorry, got me.
Come on, help.
And Ms. Wilson?
Present.
Okay.
Championship.
Ms. Faith is running behind. So at this time, Madam Chair, we do have 3 members present. We should state for the appellants that with 3 members present, the vote must be unanimous. If it's not unanimous, then the variance is denied. So at this time, the appellants may request a postponement to a future date when we would have 5 members.
Okay. Is there any appellant present who would want to postpone their matter until such time that we have 5 board members seated? If that is your desire, please let us know now, whether you're in the room or online. All right, hearing none, we will hear all of the cases. Do we have any postponements or withdrawals today?
No, we have no postponements or withdrawals. Madam Chair, we do have a councilwoman here who is present and has requested to be bumped up to the front at your, I guess, pleasure.
So we have calendar number 26-018. Do we have someone here from Slavic Village Development? Okay, we'll have you come forward to the table and we'll have, who's going to read our cases in? We don't have Ms. Holzer. Do you want to? All right. We will have Ms. Roca read in the case whenever you're ready. You can come forward.
Reading in calendar number 26018 at 3051 East 63rd Street. Slavic Village Development owner proposes to erect a 62-unit senior apartment building with a ground floor kitchen, lounge, patio, and supportive services, and 54 accessory parking spots in a B12 family district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the zoning code as stated in the agenda.
And with that, we'll do the oath.
I'll do that too. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth and nothing but the truth? Please state your name, state I do, spell your name, and give your address for the record. And you want to turn those mics on. Thank you.
Crystal Sierra, I do, KRYSTAL SIERRA.
And your address?
5620 Broadway Avenue.
Okay. And Chief, sir, go ahead.
Jimmy McCune, JIMMY, MCCUNE. I do. And address is 160 West Main Street, New Albany, Ohio, 43054.
Okay.
Winston Hung, I do. WINSTONHUNG. Address is 2111 Chagrin Boulevard.
Is there anyone else in the room who wishes to? Yes. Ms. Gray, do you want to come up a little closer or do you want to?
Hello?
Oh, I'm not sure if it's on.
Switch down.
Councilwoman Gray, DBORAHGREY, 601 Lakeside Avenue, and I do.
Thank you.
I'm Kathy McDonald. ATHY, common spelling McDonald, MCDONALD, live at 3159 East 65th Street. I do.
All right. Is there anyone on the call who wishes to speak in this matter? Raise your hand if you are here for this. I'm not seeing anyone. Back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please? Or sorry, can we have history of the property?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This was originally zoned semi-industry in 1929. In 1997, it was changed to the current two-family residential district. In our Records Administration Office, we found many permits regarding a Myers Dairy Company starting in 1910. There are no variances on file. And then in the more recent history we see in 2013, there were demolitions on the site. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Okay, can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the maximum gross floor area, minimum lot size, maximum height, and lighting requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll now turn to the project team. Which of you will like to speak first? Go ahead and state your name and give your comments.
Sure. My name is Jimmy McCune with Wallach Communities. Just a quick background on Wallach. So Wallach is a vertically integrated real estate company based just outside of Columbus. We've been around for 50 plus years, and I have about, give or take 13,000 units under management or ownership, primarily in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and more recently now the Carolinas. And we primarily specialize in affordable housing and senior living and assisted living and memory care. Like I said, we're a vertically integrated company. We do everything from the development phase, construction, long-term ownership, property management. So we're a project from start to finish. And the project we're proposing here, Warman Avenue, is, as was mentioned, 62 units for seniors 55 and older. It'll be 49 one bedrooms and 13 two-bedroom units, targeting seniors that earn up to 60% of the area median income. We are going to apply for Ohio low-income housing tax credits in June, which is a newer program to the state of Ohio. It's in its fourth year. I'm sure everyone's familiar with the 9% program. This program functions similarly. It's just the Ohio tax credit is paired with a 4% bond tax credit, and that's how the project becomes financially feasible. we did submit the project in the 9% round, which I'm sure everybody is, familiar with, more so than the Ohio low-income housing tax credit. But the process is similar, and we meeting with the councilwoman, explain the project, and we ultimately moved the zoning appeals meeting from March 30th to now, just so we had time to do our due diligence. And now that we have another chance to apply for funding, we are, requesting these variances to try to get our application in June, which, if the project is successfully awarded these funds, they'll be awarded in August, and then we can work toward closing sometime next year. So yeah, that's sort of the high level summary. Happy to take any questions now or after, but I will hand it over to Winston to talk more about the design and the variance process.
So the presentation of Winston Hung from RDR Architects. So the presentation was presented for City Planning Commission. So I'll kind of quickly run through the design. So as you can see, the site is located between East 65th and 63rd and Waterman Avenue, with Hydason Park north of our site and some general industry in the area, and mostly single family duplex units in the site and around the site. And then also the Hydason Park loft apartment adjacent on the opposite corner of our site. The site is a little bit less than 2 acres in size, and it's currently zoned for 2-family. Looking at the area view throughout the years, you can see that the site is divided, intended for single family use, but then in the late 1920s, the Myers Dairy Company took over and become a crucial part of the neighborhood, serving as a dairy plant and also a neighborhood store. So here's a historical photo of the Myers Dairy Product Company that later closed around 1980. So look at the site in the broader context. It's located at the northern part of the Slavic Village neighborhood. Easily accessible through East 55th up north towards Cleveland and south towards Tremont and Ohio City, and then also the Opportunity Corridor. Kind of going east and west. So looking at the site condition, it's currently vacant. Again, the Myers Dairy Company was taken down. Some overgrown trees. And then looking at the street view, a lot of pedestrian trees. Very pedestrian friendly neighborhood. And some of the existing buildings with 2-story vinyl sided single family homes, and then also the bottom left is the Hydason Loft Park apartment. That's a 4-story brick building. And then some more single family coming down East 63rd, and then also the metal forging plants south of our site. So we are proposing, a 3-story, 62-unit apartment building complex that's going to be anchored at East 65th and Waterman Avenue to kind of get that advantage of that view to the park up north of us, and then having that parking lot south of us, creating that separation between our building and also the single family south of us. And then having our building anchor at the corner, that creates that corner presence, create that engagement to the park and then also the neighborhood. And then quickly going through the floor plans, we got the amenities, lobby on the first floor with a multi-purpose room, and then living room space with the outdoor patio space that's, overlook the park on the south of us. And so these are some of the comments that we received from City Planning Commission. Having more of that corner presence, we'll continue working with the city on developing these plans and elevations, and then also having that connection between that interior courtyard and vestibule, and then the exterior, that street front access. So these are some of the comments that we're still working on. And then second floor, mostly units, and then some of the comments again, simplifying the form and also creating that corner presence on Waterman and East 63rd. And the third floor, same comments. quickly looking at the massing diagrams, we took inspiration from some of the single family homes with, pitch roof. And so that's kind of how we developed that form. And then having those proportions kind of break up the massing, understanding that the 62 unit apartment is going to be, the mass is going to be big. So we're trying to understand that and try, pay attention to that, kind of breaking up that massing. So this is a quick elevation. You can see that proportion is kind of breaking up on these bays and gable. And then again, the comments from City Planning Commission on simplifying the form and understanding that corner presence, that engagement with the community. So these are some of the kind of close-up renderings, and then also a rendering on Waterman and East 65th with that blue corner, that highlighted corner that's kind of emphasizing that we're going to try to provide that engagement with the with the neighborhood and also the park across. So quick material and color scheme. And then this is just a quick timeline on the project.
Okay,
Thank you.
can you talk about your variance requests and why it is that you need the variances?
Yeah, so let me go back to kind of the zoning. Sorry. Okay, so for the first agenda on the first item on the agenda, understanding that the site is currently zoned for 2-family, and kind of given the history of the surrounding context, the general industry southwest of us, northeast, kind of transitioned into the single family, and with the park and also the Hydison loft, we feel like that our building can be a kind of a cornerstone to the community, and then kind of transitioning from general industry kind of into the single family, create a kind of smooth transition and then providing senior living for the community. With feel like that's kind of important, and that's kind of the goal for us to kind of anchor that corner of providing that transition, and then having that kind of parking lot kind of tucked away, and then having that street front presence. It's kind of given the history of the Meyer Dairy Company, having that street front, that storefront, providing the residents with that amenity. So we feel like it's given the historical context, it's our building having that presence is kind of important to provide for the neighborhood. And then also looking at the number 2, section 355.04, given the size of our building with 62 units plus amenity, understanding that the maximum gross floor area limited to 1/2 of the lot area, but for us having that 3-story, the amount of units that were for the complex, and that's suitable for the neighborhood, we understand that requesting for that variance to get that density in this building is important for this type of development. So that's kind of the reason why we're asking for the variance on in terms of the size, and kind of going down to in terms of height. Just again with the density of the building, 62 units plus amenity, 3 stores, and kind of taking the Hydison loft, across the street from us, that's a 4-story building. Understanding that with this density, that height is kind of comes with the design, and then also the pitch roof that the 35 feet height limit with a 3-story building is very challenging. So and then incorporating pitch roof, we can get the building to below 40 feet at the midpoint of the pitch roof, but then it's going to exceed that 35 feet limit.
I would just a quick note that the size of the project in terms of number of units. I mean, the project has to be more or less above that 56 unit threshold to be competitive for the funding. So we're trying to find a sweet spot in between what's too small that it doesn't really make sense and isn't competitive to what's too big for the area in general.
And then kind of going down to the parking lot containing 10 or more spaces at the foot candle. So we are, still schematic phase. We have not provided any lighting plan, but we will for the final submittal for the City Planning Commission. So we shouldn't have any issue providing the foot candle as required. So we are not asking for a variance for number 4. And then for number 5, we have been approved for schematic level on the City Planning Commission, and then once the funds are rewarded, we'll, move forward with the lot consolidation.
Okay, understood. Yes, please.
One technical issue, the public notice did not include a section of the code that was on the adjudication, but we've spoken with the applicants and they said that they were going to meet the requirements of section 341.051 regarding a tree preservation plan. That section says a tree preservation plan is required to be submitted as part of the building permit application for new residential construction situated on 1 or more acres of land. Again, we spoke with the appellants. They said that they are not seeking a variance and will comply with and submit the plans required.
Okay, so then we're only considering a variance for numbers 1, 2, and 3. Am I understanding that properly?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. All right, does that conclude your comments?
Yes, thank you very
Okay,
much.
Thank you. All right, I'll now turn to you, Ms. Sierra, if you want to chime in, please do.
You want to turn on your mic?
Hi, Crystal Sierra from Slavic Village Development. We're excited to see this project move forward in the Slavic Village neighborhood. The project team has done a great job incorporating feedback they've received from Planning Commission and Design Review to ensure the project integrates well with the existing character of the surrounding community, as well as addressing the need for potential future residents to connect with public transit, healthcare providers, and with the larger Slavic Village neighborhood. I would like to point out that, and as the project team mentioned, that just across the street to the northwest is Hyacinth Lofts, the former Cleveland School Bank Repository, which at 4 stories includes 55 residential units. To the north, future residents can enjoy Hyacinth Park, views of Sideaway Bridge, and worship at Elizabeth Baptist Church if they should so choose. The project is for senior living at 55 plus, not assisted living, which would require supportive care. I'm personally excited about adding density and diversity to the Slavic Village neighborhood, which has the ripple effect of boosting small business and local economy, building community fabric through civic engagement, and increasing activation of our public spaces. The project team has given appropriate notice to surrounding residents who would be impacted by the zoning change and is working with the councilwoman's office to engage the broader community. So we are in support of the project and would humbly ask for the variance as well.
Okay, so it sounds from your comments, I'm hearing that you feel this project would fit in with the intent and the character of the zoning in this neighborhood. Is that fair to say?
That is, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I will give you the floor next. Ms. McDonald, give us your comments.
I do the Hyacinth Community Park Club. I've been doing this for almost 30-something years. Okay. First of all, they never came to our organization or our neighborhood to introduce this project. Never knew anything about this until Councilman Gray got into office. So I want to, there's nothing around there. We have no businesses. We have no stores. The 16 bus on East 55th does not run on weekends. Where are these people going to shop? Where are they going to go? Unless they got cars. But, I'd like to see something go on that property. But, this is all behind us now. This was like already approved and we didn't even know about it. So that's my comment.
Okay,
All
thank you
right.
so much for your comment.
All right. I'm very against it. Unless there's something else development coming in, like around there, like a grocery store or something. We're in a store desert. So that's mine.
Okay, all right, thank you for that, Ms. McDonald. Councilwoman Gray, I will give you the floor next.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. My concern was my concern coming in behind this discussion of development with Southwick Village in the beginning, the resident wasn't ahead of it. When I came in, I was presented with this through the residents, Kathy McDonald and the other resident, that they wasn't ahead of it and wasn't informed that this transaction of this development is coming. So after I came in, after I got elected and swore in, that's when I was able to step in to find out what happened. What happened with the project, why the resident wasn't informed prior to the conversation. So my first concern is the residents. That's who they elect us in. That's who that's who we hear from. So as I communicated with our former ED, Chandra Sanders, about setting up a meeting with the residents prior to anything, it's unfortunately the time frame that Southwick Village was pushing was too close for them to do that. And that's unfortunate for Southwick Village, because if you bring in development to any community, the resident has to be involved to understand what's coming and why. But during that transaction, I've already been there 4 months and 4 days being counsel. I was able to manage to come in. That's why I postponed the first hearing in March, because I wasn't aware about anything myself. So by me being that, I was able to postpone what happened in March, because I hadn't even had a meeting. I haven't ever been introduced to Mr. McClue and his team from Southwick Village. And that's because of the short string, as Mr. McClue stated, that they were working on. But prior to that, the work on should have been presented to the new council coming in for anything to be transaction, for me to have a conversation with the residents so they could be comfortable and to approve development. And I said to the residents, I'm not against development. Development has to happen, but what type of right development that can fit into every area of the Southwick Village area that I just obtained. So I had to sort that out too, because that is huge to understand. Why are we bringing this development over there? And true enough, there's nothing over there other than housing. Yeah. That's it. Matter of fact, I'm going over there today for another walkthrough TA. So however, after that was managed in the conversation and things did not work out for Mr. McClue and his team on March 30th, it was pushed back, but thankfully we was able to work it out to bring it back again. Then I had enough time to engage with the residents in the area to let them understand that we got another process. They will be coming to the meetings, because the meeting that Mr. McClue was coming in was prior to May 4th, but then he canceled because the variance didn't come through. So he was set up to have a meeting with the new community ward meeting that I set up in March, and a meeting with the block club over there in Hyacinth. But since they didn't have the variance on the first time, we canceled all that. But since he came back and said, hey, let's try this again, Councilwoman Gregg. So now he's on the back end doing this first, but he is scheduled to have a meeting with me in May, and he's scheduled to have a meeting at the block club in May. However, due to me having a better understanding, because development is important, I'm not against it, and I will not stop it unless it's not a good fit in the area. If it's not a good fit here, it could be a good fit in another area per se. Just bring your plan B if the plan A doesn't work. You guys know me well enough how long I've been with you guys in hearings since the last 4 years. So however, we have to keep an open mind of development. It is very much needed in the Hyacinth area. Unfortunately, there's not a plan right now for retail or storefront. That will come later. Sometimes we can't get something first. We got to get it later to know that you got to bring this, you got to bring population in, and that's our most important. Of our futuristic population is important. We got to bring population back in, and due to this being a senior and a senior apartment building, I think it's fantastic. It's gonna enlighten the area. It's gonna beautify that entire area. That's the first we have to do. We're gonna match what's already there. And that's fortunate since I've seen the entire plan, had conversation with Southern Village and Mr. McClue. It took me a while to understand that because that's not my forte, but I know for me, down the line that this will bring in the retail. This will bring in the storefronts, if not a grocery store, because it might not fit over there. Every place is not going to get a grocery store. We already know that, but it might have another a little corner retail of grocery store, and some other retails will follow. But you got to match the population to bring everything else in with other developers that can look at that and match that. So for me right now, that's why I agree for Mr. McClue and his team to come back for this hearing. I support this variance that hopefully that he can obtain to go to the next step. To get the funding and then come back later to hopefully move forward with development. I know everybody over there, just all the new. When you don't see nothing, residents haven't seen nothing in years, yes, there's a little pushback on it of the process. However, we have to understand the process can work to understand how we have to just be in front of everything, to be there at the table with all the developers that's going to come into this community so the residents can see what's going to be coming into the area for the first time in many years. And I understand that process now of being almost, they call me, I'm a veteran now of a second term, and that's a godsend. So to understand development is needed. It's a start. It's a start, and this development can fit with the second highest building that's there. It fit in with the housing that's there, and it's fit in and building a better environment to bring in all the other retail and storefronts, hopefully, that we can get over there with other development, because one development starts something, the second developer can see, hey, he took a chance, now I could come in and follow that suit too, and bring this, that, match everything else over there. So it's going to take time, but I am in a supportive of this. That's why I came back to sit with them, to listen to actually see their whole plan this time. But he is scheduled to come to my community meeting. As you guys know, that's important. He's scheduled to come to my community meeting this month, and he's scheduled to come to Kathy McDonald's Block Club meeting over there in Hyacinth, so he can start getting his plan out.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being here. Mr. Bay, do we have any comments from city planning?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay. I'm standing in for our zoning administrator this morning, but I do have a comment from the neighborhood planner, Kim Scott. She actually has recently just retired, but she did submit this prior. So this project did, as was heard, go through our local design review as well as city planning commission for a schematic approval. Kim Scott stated the project was reviewed and approved with conditions schematically. Conditions include that the architects study how the building addresses the ground floor, particular to the corner, the community space and building entrance, study if there are ways to simplify the building mass and roof forms, how can they accommodate stormwater management into design in the rear, and creating a strong sense of place that is unique to the neighborhood. Kim Scott mentioned overall the project was well received at city planning, and city planning staff supports the project and variances needed. I do have this for you in case.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you for that. So we'll allow the record to reflect that the board can review the motion form from city planning. And I will pass this along to other board members for their review as well. Do we have any correspondence, Madam Secretary?
No, we do not.
Okay, any final comments from the project team? All right, any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a question for the appellants. You are requesting a use variance and area variance today, and there are two different legal standards that you need to meet. So can you please describe for the board any hardship and practical difficulty that you will face if your variances are not granted today?
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly put some, time and resources into, trying to get this project to become a reality. Now, I will say that is part of our business. These funds are competitive. We want the chance of applying and it, doesn't work out. That's just the way it goes. But, for this site in particular, to apply for the programs that we want to apply for to make this a reality, the variances are absolute, necessity if not a full rezone. Given really the timing of the programs, as the councilwoman and I have discussed, once these qualified allocation plans and funding plans get approved by the state of Ohio, we have 2 to 3 months to apply. In order to apply for those funds, we have to have the variances in place because, from the state housing agency's perspective, they're not going to give us tax credits if the zoning doesn't allow for the use, which I can fully understand. So, in terms of the variance approval process, that is usually that's the quickest route we can go to getting, the parcel that is in question here to a conforming use, because that's ultimately what I was looking for. I would note too that the project is essentially privately financed. Now, we are applying through tax credits, but we're not asking for the city of Cleveland for any funds. Nothing from Cuyahoga County. So it's all raised through private capital through the sale of tax credits, a mortgage loan from, your typical bank. So, I would just note that for the record. But yeah, I mean, if the variances don't get passed, then we'll have to move on to another project. It's that simple. Then we can't apply for the funds. That's just the way it goes. So, like I said, I think we have a great project here. I think there's certainly plenty of demand. I do believe we have enough support locally for the project. And it's competitive, and that's half the battle. We're competing against, in some cases, 50, 60 other applicants throughout the state. So, again, we're trying to walk that tightrope of, having our project at a certain size to be competitive for the funding, also being in the area that it's in. It's all based off census tract data, county data. I'm sure you've heard this before, and this year it's no different. So it's very location specific. And like I said, we wouldn't be here if we didn't think that we had a decent chance.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, any questions from other board members?
I have questions, Madam Chair.
Please go right ahead.
I was pleased to hear that they intend to be compliant with the tree preservation plan and the lighting plan, before they move forward on this. My concerns in reviewing the plans were, and I think I'll pick up on the point that Ms. Scott made, the city planner, in her comment about the water retention and how you intend to include that into the plan. And I'm just going to list off a couple things. Being that this is a senior housing 55 plus apartment building, I was in reviewing the plans, I didn't really see any area that was allocated for ADA scooter parking or wheelchair parking or any clear area that's going to be used for pickup and drop off for paratransit. So can you cover those points for me?
Yeah, so
State your name.
Winston Hung from RDR Architects. So yeah, with those points, we're early on in our development process. We have not engaged with the landscape architect, civil engineer as well. So one of the comments are providing, kind of a loop for residents kind of walk around the site. So we are looking into working with the landscape architect and also a civil engineer to facilitate that stormwater management on site, and also providing we're having that vehicular access on East 63rd, pulling into the at that corner of where the vestibule is located. So that's going to be mainly the residential drop-off zone. And then understanding that the building's anchor on East 65th and Waterman Avenue, that's mainly the pedestrian access. So so we're trying to address that vehicular and pedestrian access points. We're using two separate vestibule, but then connected internally. But again, we'll address that site constraint on having everything ADA compliant. Having it easy for residents to kind of access the building and leaving the building safely. So that's we'll work on with the civil architect as well.
Okay.
I would note too that the 62 units, 7 will be fully ADA accessible.
Okay, so that will be accounted into the future plan.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions from the board? Hearing no questions, I'll entertain.
That's all I had, Madam Chair. Just was knowing how paratransit works, sometimes you may have 2 or 3 buses blocking passageways with no escape, lanes. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion, please, board.
Madam Chair, just before we get to that, so it sounds like their plans are in flux. So if these variances are required today, is the board going to receive an updated plan when they are done with the tree preservation plan and the lighting and the ADA and the stormwater, et cetera?
So because we're not considering those variances, I don't know that we need an updated site plan. Those variances are now off the table. So all we're considering is the use variance in terms of this being a multifamily and a 2-family, and then also the minimum lot size and the maximum height. So anything outside of that, I don't think we need to even address at this point.
Sounds good to me.
All right, perfect. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, based on the testimony that we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 26018.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Roca. Do we have a second?
Board Member Madison, second.
Thank you, Mr. Madison. Can we call the vote, please?
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 26-018 is granted. This will be ratified next Monday. We'll send you a letter, but you can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
All right, your hearing is concluded. Thank you for coming today and good
Thank
luck
you.
with your project.
Go Cavs.
Absolutely.
Let's say. Yeah, I had to throw that in there. All right.
All right, we're gonna continue business. We're calling the next calendar number, which is 26-027. Do we have Carlton Creer Senior present? All right, we'll have you come forward to the table while Ms. Roca reads in your case.
Reading in calendar number 26-027 at 16712 Westfield Avenue. Carlton Greer Senior, owner, proposes to establish use as an auto repair shop in a semi-industry district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the record in the agenda.
Thank you
And-
for that, Ms. Roca.
I will now administer the oath
Go
as
right
well.
ahead.
I am swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address. Go ahead and turn your mic on, please. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, yes, I do.
Okay,
Raise my hand. And y'all want my home address or my shop
whatever
address?
you want to put on the record.
Okay, yeah, my home address is it's 2160 West 101st Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102.
And your name?
Oh, Carlton Creer Senior.
And can you spell that, please?
Yeah, it's Creer. It's not with a G, it's with a C.
So that's Carlton, C.
Creer.
Carlton's with a C.
Yes, ma'am. Carlton with a C, and my last name is with a C, not a G.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And anyone else in the room would like to speak in this matter? Anyone on the phone would like to speak on this matter? I'm not seeing anyone. Back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Ms. Roca. Can we have history of the property, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1952, a permit was issued to erect a brick and block tool and die shop. There are no variances on file. And then in the more recent history, we see beginning in 2016, violations were issued to the property. One was for too many vehicles being stored and exterior maintenance. And then in 2023, there was a commercial board up issued to the property, 20 windows and 1 door and 2 garage doors. Also in 2023, there is a violation notice issued regarding fire damage to the property needing to be updated. And then 2024, there was a violation notice issued stating that the property should be condemned. And then October of 2025, a permit was issued to begin to correct or rehab the condemnation. And then there was a civil ticket issued in December of last year stating that the property was vacant and open and needed to be boarded. That's all that I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the minimum distance and setback requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Creer, you now have the floor. Can you tell us about your variance request, please?
Well, ma'am, honestly, I don't know nothing about all of this. I just could speak how I could speak because I just got the building. The guy gave me the building and I was just fixing it up because the building on this side where I was having my shop at, somebody set it on fire.
Mm.
So I'm dealing with Arsenal. And then, so the guy just gave me the building. It was just inside of a electrical fire. So the middle of the roof is burnt out. So I'm just trying to fix the building before I could because I'm retired now. I've been retired for like 5 years and I do cars. That's just what I do. So I'm just trying to get the building up to code. I just put the brand new garage doors up there. So I'm trying to maintain it, but because the city got into it, I'm new with all of this stuff. So I'm on the job learning. So I just want to get inside of my building so I could enjoy my retirement. That's the only thing that I'm trying to accomplish. And I'm just on the job training. I don't know the big old words. I don't know nothing. I just want to get my architect, which I paid already to for the drawings, just to get my roof on there. And I think I just got to do the windows. I already gutted it out. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
So do
after
you
this.
intend to use this place as an auto repair shop at some
Well,
point?
I work on cars myself. So that's just what I do. So that's why I said auto repair, because I love cars and I just work on cars.
Are you going to work on cars at this property?
Yeah, I got a lot of cars and bikes. So I was in that building next door and that's just what I did. I never had no complaints over there. The people that's over there, the older people want me to stay over there because I'm just to myself. So I don't know what to say. I just know the guy blessed me with the building because of the arsenal. And I know that he just told me I had to do the taxes on there. Then I found out that the city put it on the condemned list. All this stuff is in the process of me dealing after the fire. So I just want to get the roof on there and then just be to myself like I was when I was down there next door.
Okay. Any comments from city planning regarding this, Mr. Bay?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay, standing in for the zoning administrator this morning. We did get a note from Ariel Washington, the neighborhood planner. She mentioned that she's not in support of we're not in support of the variances as the property is directly across the street from residential uses.
Okay, thank you for that. And what type of auto repair work do you do in the shop?
Customized cars. I just like I put big old rims on it. I change stuff that's inside of there. That's just what I've been doing. Even when I was working at Local 310, it's just customized cars.
Okay, and when you say you change things inside of the car, are you meaning like mechanical things in the car or are you meaning something else?
Okay. Where with the cars, you lift them. It's just anything that with cars. I do my own oil changes, my tune-ups. I just work on cars, especially my cars. I don't really deal with a lot of people, so it's just, this was my retirement goal, and that's just what I was trying to accomplish.
Does your work require you to have machines that make loud noises?
No, ma'am.
Do you paint cars?
I was going to put a paint booth after I gutted it. I was going to put a paint booth back there just in case I do, because I do like little aerosol stuff. Like when I have to dye stuff, it's in an enclosed space where won't no dirt and stuff get inside of the paint. But all that major stuff I'm not into because I really just do my own thing.
Okay, do we have any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair, do you do body work? So if a car's in a, crash, for example, would someone bring the car to you and you would put a new panel on, or do you do any of that?
I don't do nothing I just on my stuff. I'm not open like that.
This is hard to understand what exactly you're doing. If you're not doing body work, you're not doing, are you changing transmissions? Like what
I
are you
don't do
doing?
no motor work.
Okay.
I'm just a car guy. And then I have a lot of cars. So my wife won't yell at me. I have a building where I keep my stuff in. So
Running a business or are you just storing cars for your use?
that's where I'm trying to work up to. I don't know, ma'am. I just know the guy gave me a building. I want to have my own shop. That's the only thing I could literally tell you. So if I'm wording it wrong or if I'm presenting it wrong, I just could speak on my knowledge of this because I'm just new, but I do have my patent. I've got my numbers and my, what you call that, with my name and stuff, my EIN number. Because
Let me ask you this. If someone brings you their car and say, I need your services to work on my car, what exactly are you doing to their car?
majority of the time, I'm probably just putting some brakes on it, a tune up or oil change, because that's it. That's what I do.
And so what we're trying to get at here is you're right next to residential properties. It looks like there's a house across the street and there might be an apartment building next door.
No,
That's not an apartment building?
it's not. On my side of the street is all industrial.
Okay. And then,
Across the street is like 3 houses.
okay. So what we're trying to determine here, as the Board of Zoning is what impact you're gonna have on your neighbors, what you're doing in your property, how that's might impact people around you. So that's why we're asking these questions about what you're gonna do.
Okay.
So in terms of, noise and things that might impact your neighbors, I mean, are you using any like heavy machinery?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So just oil changes, tune-ups and brakes and minor paint work, no body work.
No, ma'am, because I don't know how to do that stuff. I stick to my thing, what I do.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that. Any other board members have questions?
Madam Chair, to the appellant, you say you have a lot of cars. I don't know how many a lot is to you, but, I'm looking at a historic photograph and there's a car parked in the front setback, which means between the building and the sidewalk. So I'm wondering, where do you plan to park all your cars? Do you have a fenced in area in the back that you can park them? Are you planning to put up fencing around your property, to contain it and make sure no one gets in? And it sounds to me like you're just doing like car customizing, because you mentioned doing big rims and raising the car up, and are you doing like underbody lighting and things
No,
like?
ma'am. And no, ma'am. And I don't. The parking is where you see the cars at, and that was connected to the building where I was at first. So, and that's what that part. I don't even think it's no parking spaces in front of the building where mine at, because I went in there and gutted it out. So it's just a wide open space. And all my cars is going to be inside. Nothing going to be outside. I don't like my stuff outside.
Okay.
So that's what it is. And so the cars where she see is for the other building that I was in before the guy set the building on fire. Yeah, but before the guy set the building on fire.
So it sounds like you're not requesting to have vehicles parked out front. And
No,
I'll show
ma'am.
you, this is a sort of, probably the image she's looking at.
Oh,
is sort
yeah,
of the
that's
car in
way,
front of the
way
building.
before me, yeah.
Okay, so it's not your desire to have cars in front
No,
of the
ma'am.
building in this way?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so it looks like there's not necessarily a variance request for parking in the setback. So we won't need to consider that if the board agrees to that. Any comments there?
Can
Make sure don't park cars outside.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't
Yeah.
like my stuff outside.
Okay.
And then, ma'am, and where you seen the tow truck at,
Uh-huh.
okay, I was planning on putting a fence right there to keep people away from my building, because over there is just different. I'm just over there because my church up the street, and this is just what I do.
Okay. All right. And you realize you'll have to come back and get like a permit for the fence at a later time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, Madam Chair, just the standard question of practice around the practical difficulty. Not sure if that was asked or not, but if the variance is denied, is there a practical difficulty with this particular project that you'll face?
Oh, that was
That's
to
to
me.
you.
Oh,
Mhm.
and what did he say? I didn't understand.
If your
It.
variance is denied, what difficulty will you face?
And what's the variable?
You are requesting today to operate your building
Mhm.
as an auto repair shop.
Okay.
And if you are denied the opportunity to operate this building as an auto repair shop,
Mm.
explain to the board what difficulty you might face if that were to happen.
The difficulty is just, I guess it's the wording, because I literally just want my building fixed. So I don't know how to word it the proper way.
What kind of a hard time will you have if you're not able to put a auto shop in this building?
I'm probably not going to have no hard time because I don't deal with people. So just long as I could put my cars in there and have my thing, I'm fine, because I don't deal with people.
What kind of difficulty will you face if you're unable to store your cars in this building?
I don't know because I don't know.
Okay, so this board cannot grant a variance absent you telling us what difficulty you'll have. If you won't have difficulty, then we can't grant
Yeah,
a variance.
all my stuff is outside because of the building on fire. So that's the only thing that I could tell you. I have my cars put in my people's yard, and that's the only thing that's really bothering me because I don't have my stuff outside. So
Okay. All right, any other board members have questions? Madam Secretary?
Madam Chair, did we speak about hours of operation? I'm not sure if I heard that.
What hours will your business operate?
well, I don't have no operation time. I get up at 7 when my wife leave out. Then I go over there because it's just me, and I'll be back on the west side by 3:30 or 4.
What time do you start in the building?
If I do go over there, probably like 8, 9,
All right.
because I don't
What's the
have late
latest?
hours, huh?
What's the latest you're in the
The
building?
latest I probably would be over there is no later than 5 because I'll be on the west. I sit on the west side.
Okay. Any other board members have questions?
And then what days of the week? Is this 7 days a week or Monday through Friday?
It's just Monday through Friday because I don't be. It ain't no big old thing yet. I'm trying to get it there, but I'm just in the first beginning of trying to get my the building up to code and get it fixed so I can move forward. So all of this stuff is like a lot on me because I don't know, and I'm not going to sit in front of y'all to act like I know. So I just want the building fixed, and then I move to the next stage, and then wherever it go, that's what I want to do. But I retired to work for myself, not for nobody else, and that's just what I do.
Are you gonna have any employees?
No, ma'am, I do not like people. I like to be. I'm sorry. I told the councilman that too, and he laughed. Even if you ask the residents over there, I'm always to myself.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that.
All right. Any other board members have questions? Yes, Madam Secretary.
Madam Chair, just so the applicant knows, this, I think maybe he's thinking this is more about securing the building, but the issue also is that the use seems to have never been established. It looks like the most recent use was a tool and die shop. So that's
Yeah.
why we're here today.
Oh, yeah, that's what the guy explained to me, and so that's where I was nervous. I just said, sir, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to do what I need to do to get, because I think he said people over there is not doing it the correct way. So that's why I'm going down this road, which I understand, but I'm just on the job learning.
Okay.
Just for I could.
And so one more thing, when we were looking at the photos, it looked like there were cars being parked on grass. That is not permitted. So if you plan to park, if you're going to store any vehicles outside, it needs to be on paved area.
And yes, ma'am, but the chances of that to happen is because I'm very protective of my stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Any other board members have questions? All right. I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, the only comment that I had before we go to motion is to as we do with many businesses, give him the benefit of having a little cushion with his hours. So I'm going to suggest that we allow him hours 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, just in case he wants to go over there on a Saturday and putz around and do things. So he's got himself covered.
Okay. Thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Any other board members have questions or comments? All right. I'll entertain a motion, please.
Given the testimony we've heard today, the discussion that we've had with regard to fencing, with regard to parking on the front setback, and that any vehicles parked outside need to be on a paved area. And the hours discussed, I move approval of calendar number 26-027.
All right. Thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Do we have a second?
Board Member Roca, I second.
Thank you, Ms. Roca. Can we call the vote, please?
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
yes,
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar number 26-027 is granted. This will be ratified next Monday when the board meets again. Then your resolution will be ready next Wednesday. You can give us a phone call
All
back.
right, thank y'all.
All right, you're
And
very
sorry that
welcome.
I don't know the other stuff. y'all.
No worries, no need to
All right, I
apologize.
appreciate y'all.
All right, have a
Thank
good
you.
one. We're next calling calendar number 26-031. Is there anyone here from Cedar 6603 Inc.? Do we have an appellate present from Cedar 6603 Inc.?
Yeah. Yes, hello.
Okay, we can see that you're here. Thank you. We'll go ahead and read in your case.
Reading in calendar number 26-031 at 722 Literary Road, Cedar 6603 Inc. Owner proposes to establish as a bakery Josie's Bakery in a C1 General Retail Business District. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the record. And I will now swear in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address. We will.
Hello.
Oh, okay, go
Hello,
ahead.
I'm Josette Rivera.
You have to raise your hand, state your name.
Josette Rivera, Jossette, and my last name Rivera, Rivera. I do. My address is 720 Literary Road, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113.
Thank you. And is there anyone else? Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Maria Rivera Paz, Maria, last name Rivera, Rivera, Paz. I do. And my address, my home address is 7800 Pompano Court, Parma, Ohio, 44134.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Giancarlo Calicchia, Giancarlo.
Whoa, I'm sorry, that's way too fast.
Giancarlo. My last name is Calicchia, Calicchia. I do, and I live at 720 Literary, Cleveland, 44113.
Madam Chair, I'm going to ask the court reporter, did you get that? Okay, great, thank you. Anyone else on the call who would like to speak in this matter? Go ahead.
I do, Donna Gregonis, Tremont West Development Corporation, Economic and Real Estate Development Director. Our office address is 2406 Professor Avenue, Cleveland, 44113. Thanks.
Thank you. And anyone else on the call? I am not seeing anyone raising their hand. Back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you for that, Ms. Roca. Can we have history of the property, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1889, there was an addition to a two-story frame butcher shop and tenement. 1920, an open wagon shed addition was made to a what was called a bakery and a dwelling at that time. 1921, there was a 10 by 30 one-story brick bake oven addition to the rear. And 1947, a permit was issued for a tenement license for four dwellings on the second floor. And at that time, the first floor was noted as a bakery shop. In 1954, there was an inspection indicating that the property was being used as a retail bakery. I should also note, Madam Chair, that this is for a range of addresses starting from 718 to 722 Literary Road. And then there is one variance on file. This board denied a variance in February of 1995 to convert to a metal polishing shop on the first floor. So that was denied again on February 21st, 1995. And that's all that I have that's relevant. Thank you.
Okay. So it seems from the history that this was already used as a bakery. Is that fair to say?
At least a portion of the first floor, yes.
Okay. All right, can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is, I'm waiting for the.
Right.
Appellant is requesting an area variance from the parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you for that. And I'm now going to turn to Cedar 6603 Inc. Which of you would like to speak first?
Hi. Yes, we can speak first. Yeah, and we'll use this presentation.
Okay, state your name before you begin so the court reporter knows who's speaking, please.
Yes, the person speaking right now is Maria Rivera Paz.
Okay, thank you. Go right ahead.
Alrighty. Thank you everyone for your time. We'll talk to you about why we think that the parking logistics at this current location will be functional because of our business model. So we can go ahead. Just about us. We're a family-owned and operated business. This is actually our second location in the Cleveland area. We opened in Broadview Heights, which is a little bit south of here, in 2023. And yep, we're just very committed to quality, community, and service, and to beautifying the community and providing some food options, etc. So for our business concept, we are a very takeout focused bakery and cafe. It's a very quick service, minimal dine-in. There is a low customer dwell time, and it's designed to have a fast customer flow. So just stop in and then go out. And for our hours of operation, it's going to be from Tuesday to Sunday, 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., and we will be closed on Mondays. And so we present here that it does not substantially overlap with the lunch and the dinner restaurant crowds. And so we do believe that this will reduce the parking demand during peak hours of other restaurants in the area. Further for our parking plan, we will on site, we will only have 2 employees at a time. As you can see in the upper yellow highlighted zone, there is a rear lot, and this has been authorized by the property owner, Giancarlo Caliquia, who is actually right here present today. Right now we're actually working with Dante Restaurant for an authorization of the use of their back parking lot for our customers. They are going to authorize 2 spots for our customers, so that's in the lower yellow highlighted area there. And of course, this is a very walkable neighborhood. It's the Tremont neighborhood, and so there's a reduced car dependency for all the clientele. And so here is the approval letter from Giancarlo Caliquia that approves the use of the back lot for the employee parking. And we are working on receiving the signature from a Dante Restaurant representative for the approval of 2 spots in the surface lot that they have, that we mentioned in the area of the map image earlier. And so, of course, we have a very low traffic business model. It's a very short visit, grab and go business concept, and it supports the walkability in Tremont. There's actually a trail that's a few blocks next to our business. And there's a minimal impact on neighborhood parking because at the moment, this is already an area with restaurants and coffee shops. And so the traffic, there's already a traffic of people who are stopping in the businesses for food and grab and go items, as well as we don't overlap with the lunch and dinner crowds, as I mentioned earlier. And so here's just an image of our storefront. And then another image of our family and team. Here's an image of the site plan. And the zoning map. And all of these images and information have been shared with the city as well. Thank you, and that is all.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Kalikia, do you want to give comments?
I think she covered everything, and you know, this location was a coffee shop at one time, so it's, I don't know what else to say. I think they'll do a great job. They have a wonderful reputation, and I think it would be a wonderful addition, not just to my building and my neighborhood, but to the whole area of Tremont.
Okay, and can you speak to whether you, as the property owner, would face any difficulty if this variance is not granted today?
Well, you know, it's the space would be empty, which is not really a good thing for the space or for us. And I think Tremont would be missing a lovely new business.
Yeah, and this is Maria speaking. As far as for us, our budget right now does not permit for erecting new parking, private parking anywhere in this neighborhood. So that would definitely delay us by a long time if we had to adapt for that as well. So our budget just does not permit it right now. And so that would be the primary hardship we face.
Okay, Ms. Gregonis, I'll give you, oh wait, I'm sorry, I skipped over Ms. Rivera. Do you want to give comments?
Well, yeah, thank you for the opportunity again. We are very excited. We are family business, and we want to give a little bit of our culture here. And it's just, we won't have a kitchen here. Everything is gonna be made in our main kitchen, which is in Broadview Heights. So everything is gonna be just delivery, ready to go. So it's gonna be an easy coffee shop, just for people to, you know, just come and to go, easy to buy and easy for everyone here.
Okay, thank you for that. Ms. Gregonis, back to you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. Thank you for allowing Tremont West to weigh in on the project. So this did not go formally before the neighborhood, but this project does directly go in line with some of the objectives that the neighbors have for the neighborhood and the organization does. So this is a really great part of the neighborhood where it's very walkable. The hours of operation that Josie will be open, there's always ample parking on the street. I know because our office is almost across the street and we're there all the time walking around or, yeah, so there's more than enough parking during the day. And additionally, we did speak to Dante. He said that they could use, of course, in the evening, it's a valet lot. So it's public parking and there's parking like I know people complain about parking, but there is parking within a block or so, even at night. But this will not be open at night. It will only open during the day and mostly carry out. I also believe that 5 spaces seemed like a lot based on what the drawings are for her takeout space. The place doesn't really have a spot for people to sit for very much. I think there's like a table or two where people can just wait for their coffee or their pastries to be packed up, but it's not the type of place where people are going to be hanging out and working from all day. But we do have a lot of those bakeries and cafes in the neighborhood, and I don't believe that maybe any of them went through the variance process for parking. So anyway, all that being said is I hope you guys grant the variance. Yeah, and it would be a very big hindrance to the neighborhood if she could not open it because everyone's looking forward to the delicious treats and quick coffee in the neighborhood. So thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Any comments from city planning, Mr. Bay?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay, standing in for the zoning administrator. We do have a comment from Brittany Pabon, the neighborhood planner, stating that she is in support for the variances and that it's contextual to the neighborhood. It's a takeout bakery. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Board, any questions? Seems pretty straightforward. I will entertain a motion. Oh, sorry. Before we go to motion, Madam Secretary, we have correspondence.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a support letter from Council Member Austin Davis. If you'd like me to read it in.
Okay, go right ahead.
He's writing to express his strong support for Josie's Bakery and their change of use. Josie's Bakery currently operates out of a single location in Broadview Heights, Ohio, making the opening of this second outlet significant as it will be the bakery's first location in Cleveland and an important next step in the growth of its business. This new location will allow Josie's Bakery to expand production capacity, streamline operations, and serve a new customer base in a welcoming environment. Beyond the operational benefits, this project will generate meaningful economic impact for the surrounding neighborhood. The new cafe will create local jobs, increase foot traffic, and contribute to the vibrancy of Fremont small business community. Josie's Bakery embodies the type of entrepreneurial spirit that strengthens our local economy and enhances the character of our city. In a dense neighborhood like Fremont, where off-street parking is already minimal among existing businesses, mandatory parking minimums are prohibited a small business ecosystem. Though not in a transit-oriented development zone, Tremont is still serviced by the nearby GCRTA bus route 25 and is known to be a highly walkable neighborhood. For these reasons, I fully support Josie's Bakery appeal for their change of use application. I believe their expansion will be an asset to the community. And again, that was Austin Davis, Ward 7. And then I also have a letter from Corey Snipes at 715 Literary Road. States, my wife, Susan, and I own the property at 715 Literary Road in Cleveland. We support the appeal of Josie's Bakery for relief of the retail parking requirements. Parking is extremely limited in the Tremont area for all businesses, and the zoning requirement will put an unnecessary burden on the bakery. Tremont is a very walkable, pedestrian-friendly neighborhood, and having Josie's nearby will be an asset to the block. Again, that's Corey Snipes, 715 Literary Road. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Madam Secretary. Board, I will entertain a motion at this time.
Madam Chair, before we go to motion, I just want to make sure hours are Tuesday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 2. Is that correct?
No, I think it's 3.
3.
Can someone from the project team chime in there, please?
Yes, it will be Tuesday through Sunday, 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay. Madam Chair, I think to the project team, nice presentation. This building kind of goes back to its roots, it sounds like. So we've got the hours Tuesday through Sunday, 7:30 to 2 p.m. 2 employees. We've got support of City Council and the CDC. So with all that being said, I move approval of calendar number 26-031.
Thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Do we have a second?
Board Member Roca, I second.
Thank you, Ms. Roca. Can we call the vote, please?
Mr. Madison.
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar 26-031 is granted. This will be ratified next Monday. The resolution will be ready on Wednesday. You can contact our office for further instruction.
All right. Good luck to you with your project. Thanks for coming today. We'll now go to the next case. You're very welcome. We'll next call Solomon Universal Construction. Do we have a representative present from this company?
I am here.
All right. We'll have you come forward, and while you do that, we'll read in your case.
Reading in calendar number 26-032 at 10817 Green Lawn Avenue. Solomon Universal Construction LLC owner proposes to rebuild existing enclosed front porch and a 3x4 wooden landing to a single-family residence in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the record. I will now swear in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address. Go ahead, sir.
I do. My name is James, James Solomon, as a ignition, S, Tabanar, Tabannor,
Whoops, too fast. CABA.
Nnor, 2N
Okay.
and OR. And my name, my address is 11702 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105.
And then did you say you swear you do?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I swear I do.
Thank you. And then is there anyone else in the room? Or anyone on the call who wishes to speak in this matter? Not seeing anyone, Madam Chair, back to you.
All right. Can we have history of the property, please?
Can you please repeat?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that the building was constructed in 1910 and a garage was erected on the property in 1920. 1968, there's a permit to add aluminum siding to the single-family dwelling. There were general repairs made again to a single-family dwelling in 1979. And then in our more recent history, there was a complaint made in 2020 about the structure collapsing, and there was a violation notice issued subsequently after that. And then we see a certificate of disclosure was issued in 2024 stating that the authorized use of the property is a single family. There are no variances on file for this address. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the enclosed front porch requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right. Question for either Mary or Mr. Bay. I know there's a part of the code that limits us with front enclosed porches. Are we in that portion of the code or no?
This is Xavier Bay standing in for the zoning administrator. No, our plans examiner didn't originally write that up. So the answer would be no. I did also notice during the site visit that there is a enclosed porch directly adjacent to the property, which would allow them to encroach said front yard regulations.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Mr. Bay. All right, I will turn to you now, sir. Please tell us about your variance requests.
My variant request, as I'm in like in the construction and remodeling stuff. So I have a partner who recommend me to this spot here. And once I get there and look at it, the source was like physically talking to me, no? So I see it and it was like deteriorating down, and I said like gotta go in and make some change to it if they would like sell it to me at a reasonable price, in which he did. And I bought it and started the process. It was an enclosed porch, so I just removed the rat wood them from outside and going back over with brand new wood, so it looked nice, representable for the community. So like someone could get it to stay in as a nice home.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it sounds like it was already an enclosed porch.
Yeah, it was.
You're just replacing what was already there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, that's pretty straightforward. Any questions from the board? All right, no questions. Any comments from city planning?
This is Xavier Bay standing in for the zoning administrator. Ariel Washington stated she is in support of the variances.
All right.
Sorry, Ariel Washington is the neighborhood planner. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Board, I will entertain a motion if there are no other questions.
Madam Chair, based on the testimony we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 26-032.
Thank you for that, Ms. Roca. Do we have a second?
Board Member Madison, second.
Thank you, Mr. Madison. Can we call the vote?
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Mr. Madison?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Calendar number 26-032 is granted. This will be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter and you can contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
I appreciate of it.
All right. Good luck with your project.
All right, thanks a lot.
Uh-huh.
God bless you all.
Likewise.
All right.
We're going to call the next calendar numbers 26-033 and 034. This is Godfather Properties LLC. Do we have a representative present? Looks like you're coming to the table. Thanks for hanging in there with us today and for your patience. Ms. Roca, you want to go ahead and read the case in, please?
Sure. Looks like we have a bundled case. I'm reading in calendar numbers 26-033 at 4313 Peach Court and calendar number 26-034 at 4310 Bailey Avenue. Godfather Properties LLC owner proposes to erect a single-family home with a front-loaded garage in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals from relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in both those calendar numbers and the record. Thank you. Now I am going to swear in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address for the record. Go ahead, sir.
I do. Steve Mazzoni, STEVE-MAZZONE, and 3601 Clark Avenue, Cleveland.
Thank you. And is there anyone on the call who wishes to speak in this matter?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay, I see a couple people. Let's go with you first, ma'am.
Are you talking to me?
I am, yes.
Hi, yeah, my name is Kay Longville, and I live at the neighboring property.
And we'll have you, do you swear?
I do swear, yes.
And then give your address, please.
My address is 4306 Bailey Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio, 44113.
Thank you. And I saw someone else's hand go up. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, hi, I do. My name is George Mayer, JORGEMAYOR, and I am the other neighbor at 4314 Bailey Avenue.
Okay, and anyone else on the call who wishes to speak in this matter? See some other people on the call, so just making sure. Okay, no one is raising their hand, so back to you, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you for that, Ms. Roca. Can we have history of the properties?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We only have information on 4310 Bailey, as this is a recently split parcel. It's my understanding. So for the address of 4310 Bailey Avenue, there are no variances on file. We found in 1922, a permit was issued to erect a garage. 1947, there was an addition made to a garage. And then probably the most pertinent information is that in 2009, there was a permit for residential demolition on the site. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Can we have legal, please?
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the minimum lot area, minimum lot width, maximum gross floor area, rear yard depth, and garage requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And I believe that's the same for both cases.
All right. Thank you for that. And I'll now turn to you. You want to go ahead and give us your name and give us your comments about your variance?
Yeah, again, Steve Mazzoni. Yeah, so we took one large lot, 4310 Bailey, and split it in half. Everything's been surveyed and submitted to the county. It's not recorded or updated yet, but you know, it's on them for getting that done. What we're trying to do here is just build two smaller homes on the lot with an entrance from Bailey for the front home and then an entrance from Peach Court from the rear home. Yeah, basically just want to really utilize, the whole lot and create a different type of, housing situation, versus all the other houses are, single family homes, larger ones. This would be a little bit smaller, more affordable, in terms of either purchase or rent, and just something unique to the neighborhood and something different. So,
Conclude your comments?
yeah.
Okay, we'll now turn to Kay Longville. Do you want to give your comments?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. So my name is Kay Longville. I've lived at the neighboring property at 4306 Bailey Avenue since 2022, where I currently live with my husband and our two young children. One is present for this call because her nap did not line up. I have lived in or near the Ohio City area since 2016. And I'm here to express my opposition to the requested variances for this project. I want to focus my comments on the specific standards that the board, follows, of course, and particularly whether these requests represent a practical difficulty or instead a substantial departure from the zoning code. So across all of these variances that are being requested, I see a consistent pattern, which is the need for these variances is really not driven by unique conditions of the property that are not shared by other properties in the same zoning district or necessity. Rather, the need for these appears to be due to, a decision by the developer to intensify the development beyond what the zoning allows, and to overbuild in a small lot with what I assume is a purpose of maximizing profit at the expense of the neighborhood integrity that these zoning rules were meant to protect. So denying these variances, I don't think would deprive the appellant of substantial rights that others in the same district enjoy. And I believe granting them would be contrary to the intent of the zoning code regarding public welfare, pedestrian friendliness, and adequate light, space, and parking for the residents who live here. This property can be reasonably developed without all of these variances, whether as a single family home or as a conforming two-family structure, multifamily structure, in the same way that other homes on the street are, without significantly altering the usability and aesthetic of the neighborhood. First, I think the variance from section 33703A is significant. The proposed lot areas are 1770 square feet and 1980 square feet respectively, compared to the required 4,800 square feet. So that's roughly a third of what the code requires. The proposed floor area exceeds the allowable amount by more than 30%. And this is all on an already narrow lot. The lots on the street are narrow. They don't have driveways on the side of the street. So they don't have a lot of wiggle room to begin with. So these adjustments are not minor. I think taken together, they fundamentally alter the permitted density and scale of development in this district, in this area. Second, I think the requested relief from the rear yard requirement further demonstrates that this site the proposal is overbuilding on it. The code requires minimum rear yard of at least 20 feet to ensure light, air, privacy, and proper spacing between structures. So I think that the inability to meet even this baseline standard is more evidence that the proposed design exceeds what the lot can or should reasonably support. And this is not a hardship that's inherent to the property. I think that also third, the garage placement variance conflicts with the intent of the code. The requirement that garages be located in the rear half of the lot or screened by active living spaces meant to preserve a pedestrian-oriented landscape and streetscape. And instead, this proposal introduces front-loaded garages that would dominate the frontage and diminish the visual and functional character of the street. This is not an unavoidable condition. It's a result of chosen design. Finally, I'd note that this project requires review by the Cleveland City Planning Commission prior to permitting. I think given the number and magnitude of the variances that are being requested, I think that review is especially important to evaluate the site design and neighborhood compatibility. Granting these variances without that input, I think would risk bypassing an important part of the city's process. In closing, I think that the appellant's request is not a request for limited relief. I think it's a request for multiple substantial variances that taken together would effectively rewrite the zoning standards for this parcel. I think approving it would set a concerning precedent for similar overdevelopment in the future. I think that the hardship being described here is self-created. The appellants knew the zoning limits when they bought the property. They knew the way that the homes in this area on this part of the street were structured. I think this request is about maximizing profits, and I don't think it's about necessity. Since other homes are not structured this way, as the appellant noted, this property can be reasonably used without these exceptions, either for a single-family home or a multifamily structure. If these variances are granted, I think it would lead to further parking shortages on the side of the street with what would be no driveways. If this is granted, it would reduce light, air, and privacy, and it would alter the pedestrian-friendly nature of the neighborhood. All for what I think is a non-compelling and non-necessity-based purpose. So for these reasons, I respectfully ask the board to deny the requested variances. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Can we now have comments from Mr. Mayor?
Yes, hi. Once again, my name is George Mayer, and I and my husband live at the property at 4314 Bailey Avenue. Ms. Longville did an excellent job actually at summarizing what our objections are to granting of these variances as well. However, I do want to start out by saying that, my husband and I, we are not against any development going onto this parcel. We actually welcome responsible infill development that will complete the build out of this block of Bailey. Our problem arises with the proposal to put 2 houses on this lot. The main issues we had, Ms. Longville detailed, but I do want to just support what she was saying, which is our concerns have to do with putting 2 houses on this block are incompatible with the neighborhood character that currently exists. The other development patterns of every single interior lot on this block follow the same pattern, with a single family house in the front and a detached garage in the back. By putting 2 single family houses on this lot, it's just not really compatible with the way the other lots have been developed. And then also there's the disruption to the neighboring lots of putting a new single family house on the back side, the Peach Court facing side of the lot. The issues there rise with the shadows and noise and privacy that would significantly impact Ms. Longville's family and my family from enjoying our outside spaces throughout much of the day. And then the other factor that kind of gave us pause was in speaking to our neighbors that have parts of their property fronting on Peach Court. That's a really, really narrow right of way back there. And they all expressed concerns with having, additional traffic, going up and down that really narrow street. And also have a front-loaded garage facing Bailey raises safety concerns with the K-8 school that's at the end of the block going towards 41st. It's a very, very pedestrian friendly area, lots of kids walking to from school, and there might be some safety concerns with having a front-loaded garage that close to the sidewalk. And so for those reasons, we respectfully ask that you do not grant the variances, at least for the Peach Court parcel. We do think that's an overbuild that is not necessary.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Any comments from City Planning, Mr. Bay?
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay, standing in for the zoning administrator. We do have a comment from the city planner, Brittany Pabon. She mentions that she's not in support with the front-loaded garage variance request, as there are safety concerns, and that she recommends pulling any garage to the rear of the home. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Question to the appellant regarding the front-loaded garage. Have you designed any plans with the garage in the back?
Well, let me start with one thing. So when people come in, like Jorge, he rents the house next door. He's not a property owner. Are they allowed to really comment on this?
Yeah.
Even though they're not the owner of the property?
Yeah, they live in the neighborhood. So hold on, Mr. Mayor. You can't speak out of turn. I'll give you an opportunity. But yes, go ahead and give your comments regarding the front-loaded garage.
Well, so Peach Court, going down there, like Miss Longville, her garage faces the Peach Court. So it's not a front-loaded garage, okay? It's technically in the rear part of that lot. It's no different than any of the other 5 houses on there. So in terms of Peach Court, there should be no reason for a variance for a front-loaded garage. Okay, and then on Bailey, the house across the street has a front-load garage. So there's already been a precedent set.
My question was, did you consider design that would have put the garage in the back of the house?
No, if we're trying to maximize the lot with two properties on it, then you cannot do that. There's no way to get a car back there on a 30-foot wide lot.
Okay. And did you want to give other comments regarding the opposition that we've heard?
Yeah, Jorge, move your car off my property, please.
Okay, that's for a different setting.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair. To the appellant, so the standard that you have to meet is the practical difficulty standard for the area variances. So can you describe to the board the difficulty that you will face if the variances are not granted today? And also, did you consider, go ahead and answer that question first, and I'll go with the next one. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, so we went through planning with Xavier and Brittany, and everybody was on board with this project all throughout the city. In terms of hardship, I mean, I don't really understand the point of that question.
Well, it's the legal standard you have to meet.
I
You
understand.
can't get a variance without
I
understanding that
got you, I
question.
got
So
you.
let's make sure you're clear.
I got you. So what part of the variance are you talking about? The whole thing?
So every variance that you are asking this board to grant to you today, you have to meet the standard
Okay.
that you will face a practical difficulty
Can we
not
put the standard on
shared
the screen?
by other land or buildings in the same area, and that you will be deprived of substantial property rights. So what I'm asking you
Yeah, I
is,
got you.
what property rights are you going to be deprived of, and what difficulty will you face if these variances are not granted today?
The difficulty is, you know, being able to build something that I think is going to benefit the neighborhood. I mean, every house on that street is a 30-foot wide lot. So they all had to get variances because you said it's 4,800 square feet and 40-foot wide. So I'm not even sure why we need that as a variance. What was the other one? The front load garage, again, on Peach Court, I don't think I consider that a front load. It's no different than her garage or the other garages down the way, down the alley. I understand on Bailey, and if you want to deny me of the front load garage on Bailey, then it is what it is. And we'll just have street parking, and instead of a garage, it'll just be storage.
Okay, so, so you don't, the code considers it a front loaded garage because
Yeah.
it's a house and a
I
garage.
get you, yeah.
Right? So they're, in comparison to your neighbors that you're comparing yourself to, those garages are not a house and a garage, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so there is a difference there.
Okay, and I mean, it's not much different than a single-family house on Bailey and then an ADU in the back.
Right, so that was actually gonna be my next question. So did you consider an ADU for the front house, the Bailey house, instead of doing a full house facing Peach Court? Did you consider an ADU unit?
I mean, I have, but despite what she's talking about, just all about profit, it's really not. It's actually about creating a new market for more affordable, you know, residents. You know, she paid, I mean, I built a couple other houses and they've all been $500,000-$600,000 houses, $700,000 houses. I want to get something that's more affordable that can get a homeowner in there for, you know, $200,000. So that's my main goal here, my main objective. You know, just to diversify. So we're not all, you know, sitting there paying these astronomical building rates.
Any other board members have questions?
Madam Chair, I think the comment was made that the one house across the street already has a front loading garage and that sets a precedent. That's not how we work. It's a one case by one case situation. So, I want to be clear on that. The other concern I have in looking at, houses on Bailey, many of them just have driveways that end at the back of the house. And it appears to me that people are using that for parking. And that would not be to code because If they're parking overnight, they are alongside the house and they're within 10 feet of any opening. So I just want the appellant to be clear that if he wants to change the option, that really isn't a viable option. Those are my comments at this point.
All right, thank you, Ms. Faith. Any other questions or comments from other board members?
Yes, I have one more, at least one more. The house on Peach Court. Peach Court is a very narrow street.
Yeah.
How do you plan to accommodate, is it a one-car garage or two-car garage?
One car.
Cars getting in and out of there easily?
Well, it's gonna be set back from the alleyway,
Okay.
you know, by like at least 10 feet. And, I mean, the garage, like her garage is actually only 6 feet off the alleyway and they get in and out. Or what other people do is they park in their little apron in front of the garage, but we don't want that. We want someone to pull in the garage. So ours, the house will be set back from the alleyway, you know, at least 10 feet.
Okay.
So there'd be no issue. in
And that's
terms
enough
of-
room,
Yeah.
turning radius wise to get into that
Yeah,
garage. All right.
yeah.
And then are there any other single family homes facing Peach Court?
Yeah, down the other end, going towards the east end. And there's one on the corner. I don't know if you could pull the map up again.
I'm looking at the street, so I'm just trying to
So
orient.
right there, West 43rd Place, I think that corner house on the corner of Peach Court, that's considered Peach Court. And then I think further down the street is considered Peach Court also.
But does that corner house, do they enter and exit on Peach Court, or the front of the house is on facing West 44th
Well, West 43rd.
or 43rd, excuse me?
I think the entrance is on the Peach Court.
Okay.
Yeah, because like, there's a front door off of 43rd.
All right, any other board members have questions or comments?
Madam Chair,
Secretary?
the
Yeah.
appellant did submit some photos of other samples of front-loaded garages. I'm not sure if we flipped through those yet in the PowerPoint.
That's at 41st and Bailey. That's on Bailey. That's across the street. And the blue house is the one with, yeah, that one there, directly across the street. That one's at the corner of Bailey and 44th. On the east side.
Do we have elevations of your proposed homes?
There should be in there, yeah. Yeah, because when we went through planning, it was recommended we add more windows. We added more windows. It was recommended to do less concrete in the front and have more green space. We did that. And if they're worried about the rear section of lot, if she doesn't, you know, she's talking about being too close together, I could eliminate those porches very easily. Which then creates more distance in the back.
And that is going to variance number 3, is that?
Yeah, that's the one with the rear. I mean, it's nice to be able to have, because your living space is upstairs, so to have a little balcony out there to walk out in and sit, you know, that'd be nice to have.
Okay, and then do we have Bailey elevations?
They're basically built the same, it's just flipped. It should be on the next page, I would imagine. No. Yeah, the houses are the same. They're just, oh, there it is. There's Bailey.
All right, board members, any other questions?
Madam Chair, the photographs of the adjacent houses were in the packet, and those were the ones that I reviewed that have essentially driveways that they're using as parking pads. So I just want to be clear to the appellant that that is something that is not necessarily the code.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'm sorry, did we have any correspondence from the council person on this or any other?
No, we don't have any correspondence. We've only gotten a word from the planning commission,
Yeah.
neighborhood planner.
Okay.
Mhm. All right, motion, any motion from any board member, please?
For purposes of putting this on the table, I move denial of calendar number 26033 and 26034.
Board
All
Member
right.
Roca, I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the table. Can we call the vote, please?
Mr. Madison,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes.
Calendar numbers 26-033 and 26-034 are denied. This decision will be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter.
Okay.
So you're
thank you.
denying both properties?
That is correct. A motion has been made to deny vote
On
both
all
properties. On all variances, that's correct.
Okay.
All right, that concludes our business for today. I am gonna move now to old business. We have two matters that are up for ratification. Any objection on these two matters?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, those will be ratified without objection. It is now 11:31 and we are adjourned. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Go Cavs.
Go Cavs!
Yeah.
Woohoo!